The Carolina Panthers have done it. They have moved up to the number one pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Tanner Blue with Blue Sports Media. We're going to break it down, the full breakdown of the trade. The Carolina Panthers getting the first pick. Chicago Bears moving down, getting multiple picks plus a player. Let's take a look and see what everything looks like. The Carolina Panthers get the first pick in the draft. Now, obviously, I am going to be a little bit biased in this because the Panthers are my favorite team. However, I'm going to try my best to break this down from both perspectives. Now, taking a look at this from the Panthers side, why did they do this? Well, the Panthers for numerous years have been without a franchise quarterback, and I think everybody knows that. They've gone the retread route multiple times. The Sam Darnolds, the Baker Mayfields, PJ Walker had a couple games here and there, but they have not been able to find that answer of the franchise ever since Cam Newton really left in 2018. I know he came back, but he was not the same player, unfortunately. Cam, after injuries, just not the same player. So the Panthers have been looking for that franchise guy for really since about 2018, 2019. And unfortunately, that has been a long and bumpy ride for Panthers fans. So what do the Panthers do? They end up with the 9th pick in the NFL draft. They've got some nice pieces around on defense. They've got a good offensive line. They just have a brand new coaching staff being brought in, which I think Frank Reich has done an amazing job so far assembling a good coaching staff, offensive-minded, but also lots of good senior and veteran coaches to come in there on the staff. When Matt Rule was the coach, it was a lot of unproven guys that really didn't have a chance, and they just weren't ready. They did not make things work in that time frame. So Frank Reich bringing along a new staff, bringing some veteran guys in, bringing some high-profile coaches in, I think it's a great move. So what do? We all know one thing in the NFL. If you do not have a franchise quarterback, you have no chance. You have no chance. You can win some games. You can compete for a wild card position. You can maybe win a couple playoff games, maybe. But to be one of the best teams in the NFL, you need a franchise quarterback. That is what the Panthers are betting on. At the 9th spot, they don't think a franchise guy is there. They can maybe get an Anthony Richardson or a Will Levis, but do you want to risk it? If you think a guy in there above a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young is the guy, then you know what they always say, if that's your guy, go and get him. And that's what the Panthers did. And I've got to give great props to, David Tepper, who was conned. He was conned when he signed Matt Rule. It was fool's gold. He got used by a used car salesman. He learned his lesson, I think, brought in some veteran coaches, and he said, look, I want a franchise quarterback. I don't want to go the Lamar Jackson route of trading 2 firsts and then paying a massive contract. There's guys I believe in the draft that the coaching staff believe in the draft. And guess what? They trade up and they're going to get their guy. Now let's take a look at the Chicago Bears. The Bears believe they have their franchise quarterback in Justin Fields. Some people agree, some people disagree. I personally like Justin Fields. I do think he has a long ways to go in terms of his passing ability, but he is an incredible athlete, a great leader, and I think it would be a disservice to not really give him the opportunity to build around him. What do the Bears do? They trade back. Now let's take a look at what they got. They get the 9th pick in the draft. They swap they swap picks with the Panthers. They get the 61st pick in the draft. They get a first-round pick in 2024, a second-round pick in 2025, and they get receiver DJ Moore. Now, from my perspective, DJ Moore is an incredibly talented receiver. I think he's super underrated. I think a lot of Panthers fans are underrating how hard it's going to be to replace him. He's never had a quarterback. He had 1 year of Cam Newton on a downtrend, and that was it. And he consistently put up 1,000-yard seasons until this season. I think he had a 900-yard season. He was close, but he's had no one to throw him the ball, and he's made plenty of plays. I think this is a great get for Chicago. Do I think Justin Fields can get him the ball like he needs? We'll see. That's going to depend on the accuracy of Justin Fields, the offensive play calling. But if you're the Bears, you got to be happy with what you got. DJ Moore, he's a young receiver. He's not on a bad contract. and you get some picks, and you only move down a couple spots. I think this is a good move for the Bears. They need more than just one player, and that one player is not going to be a quarterback in this draft. They've got their guy. They think they have their guy. So they're going to move down, acquire picks, get some good talent still in the top 10, and they get a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. Good get for the Bears. Seen lots of people saying the Panthers got fleeced. The Panthers lost this trade. The Panthers, what are they thinking? Let me tell you something. If the Panthers hit on a franchise quarterback, no one will remember what they gave up to move. Listen, I really don't think they gave up that much. Yes, they gave up a really talented player in DJ Moore, but is DJ Moore the game-changing player that's going to turn around a franchise? He's not. He's not that for us, at least. And we've had no one throwing the ball, and you need a quarterback to compete in this league. So they unfortunately had to part ways with him as part of that trade. They only gave up an extra first-round pick, and they gave up a second-round pick, essentially. There are talks. There are veteran wide receivers that are out there that they could get. Keep in mind, the Panthers still have the 39th pick in the NFL draft in the second round, which is a high second-round pick. They could get a receiver in the second round, I think. A quality receiver in the second round. Odell Beckham Jr. is there. Adam Thielen is there. DeAndre Hopkins is there, available for trade. There are guys that are available, and I'm willing to bet the Panthers more than likely have some sort of plan when it comes to this. I don't think they're going to roll with the guys they have now because that's a bottom tier, probably the worst receiving core in the league. Unfortunately, I do like Terrace Marshall Jr. I think he's a good player, but he's not there yet. He's not a number one. So I want to see him get opportunities, but Panthers need help in the wide receiver position, but at the end of the day, you have to have the quarterback. The Panthers have a top 10 offensive line. If you watched last year, they got a left tackle in the draft. Bradley Bozeman will likely be re-signed as center. Their guards and their right tackles just fine. They're all young. I think this is a good move for the Panthers. They jump up. They're going to get their franchise guy. Who do I think personally is going to be the pick? If you ask me and you move up to number one, I think without a shadow of a doubt is going to be C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. I think there is a possibility that it could be Bryce Young, and I like both players. I think Bryce Young, and I feel like this is a repeated talking point, but I do think it is true. Bryce Young, to me, is the best pure quarterback in this draft. His accuracy, his ability to make plays, his ability to analyze the field. I watched him a lot at Alabama. He played against top-tier talent. The kid is a baller. I do think size concerns are legitimate in the NFL. I think Bryce Young is, 5'11", 6 foot, about a $180, something like that. It is tough. I do think that he can likely surpass that and probably put on some weight. There have been small quarterbacks in the NFL before, but he is really on the downside of that. I do think that Bryce Young is a tremendous talent, and whatever team he goes to, I think he will prove a lot of people wrong. But for the sake of the number one pick, I think the Panthers are going to go with C.J. Stroud. I can already hear the comments. I've heard it all year long. Ohio State quarterbacks, they never work out in the NFL. It is just guaranteed not to work. You've had the Troy Smiths of the world. You've had the Cardell Jones of the world. You've had the Dwayne Haskins of the world. And you've had the Justin Fields of the world, even though that is still up for debate at this point. Correct. A lot of Ohio State quarterbacks have not worked out, but I'm telling you, there's something about C.J. Stroud that is a little bit better than these guys. Those other guys, while yes, they've had the ability to make plays with their arm, they have been widely known to make plays with their legs and their athleticism. I think C.J. Stroud is way more known for his passing ability. The guy can make laser throws, he makes tremendous reads, and he's a leader. He really just sits in the pocket. I've watched some tape. I'm not saying I'm an NFL scout. I know every single thing. I could be completely wrong. But from what I've seen, the guy, he can make reads. He can make his progressions. He's comfortable in the pocket. And he seems to have amazing accuracy. Now, people can also bring up the other point. well, C.J. Stroud's throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. and all these other guys that are first-round talent wide receivers. That is true, and he's had tremendous talent beside him. But I think that at the end of the day, you can have all the talent in the world around you. You have to be able to get these guys the ball in a fast and accurate fashion. I think CJ Stroud does that. I've seen a lot of comparisons of Joe Burrow, and I could kind of see that resemblance. The guy can make big plays when he needs to. He's accurate. He's got a big arm, and he can run. He's not known for his running ability like prior Ohio State quarterbacks, but he can certainly run and get the job done if he needs to. He is not slow. I would say if he ran a 40, he's probably 4.6, 4.7 if he ran as hard as he could. I think this is a win-win for both teams. For the Bears, you get picks, you get DJ Moore, you get someone to throw the ball to, give Justin Fields a chance. I like it. If you're the Panthers, you go up, you think you have a chance at getting a franchise quarterback, you need one desperately. If the Panthers sat at number 9 and they took maybe a Levis or Anthony Richardson, maybe a guy that isn't ready yet or a guy that has major bust potential, or they just sat there and they took the best player available, you are doing a disservice again to the rest of your team and your organization by not getting a guy that you maybe believe is a franchise quarterback. And I think the Panthers, I give them props, just going all out, being risky and saying, hey, we want a franchise guy. We think one of these two guys is going to be there. We're going to go up and get our guy. We'll worry about the rest later. Panthers, we have a solid defense. We have a solid offensive line. If you get the quarterback right, we can figure out the skill positions and make things work. I think this is a win-win for both teams, and I'm pretty excited for the draft. I already was excited, now I'm even more excited. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who won this trade? Was it the Panthers? Was it the Bears? Or did both teams win? Or did both teams lose? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.